Hello everyone, here we are at Module 3. We are already 1/4 of the way through this course, if you can believe it. This course is going to go fast, so hang in there with me. Keep up with the readings, keep up with your postings, and we're going to get through this whole thing together. Now in this video, I'm going to give you a preview of what's to come. I'm going to give you a very brief idea of what a proposal is, what the literature review is, and why we do it. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to select your articles, where to start, what to do with your literature once you have it, and give you a basic idea of how the literature review should flow. After this video, you're going to watch another video by Dr. Gerhardt, and she's going to give you a good detailed outline as how to put together a lit review. There's a nice set of organizational strategies that you might find to be very, very useful that she's going to give you. Then you're going to read from the Newman book. The chapter that I've assigned is actually split into 2 readings. You're going to read the first part of the chapter, pages 25 to 45, on the literature review for this module. And then we're going to finish this chapter in the next module, but it's going to change from the lit review to ethics. Newman is going to be a great resource for you in terms of outlining your lit review. So don't, just read it and forget it. Put a post-it in there. Remember that one. So we're going to dig in to today's topic. I'm going to give you a really quick idea of what a research proposal is all about and why we even do them. Research is like cooking because it is venturing into something where you take a bunch of ingredients, you put them together, and it turns into something wonderful. It's like jazz because you gather together a lot of people and you put together these wonderful bits of music from a guitar and a drum and a bass and a trombone and a saxophone and maybe a singer, and it turns into this beautiful composition when you're done. It's like a road trip because, it's a journey, man, and you never really know where you're going to end up, right? So the proposal is essentially like these things, as I described. It's like cooking because there's a recipe. It's like jazz because you have an idea of how to construct this musical piece. And it's like a road trip because, you need a map and you have to figure out all the different stops along the way. Every one of these things has some sort of organizational component to it. The proposal is an organized plan. It tells the reader what's to come. It offers justifications. It organizes the study for the researcher and the reader. And it's kind of like an IKEA shelving unit where it puts everything into place in a very organized fashion. And that's what the proposal is for. The proposal for this course has 2 major pieces that you're going to focus on. The first is the literature review, and then there's the methodology section. Today we're going to talk about the literature review, aka the lit review. So I'm going to call it the lit review from here on in. So let's start by talking about why we even do a lit review in the first place. It shows that you have read enough and that you have a good grasp of what's already been said and done on your topic. The lit review for the reader helps your readers to follow your argument. It justifies your study. It talks about maybe a gap or a hole in the literature, something that's missing. Or maybe you're looking at something that's been researched and it's been done, but not in the way that you want to do it, not in the way that you're going to look at it. It offers a new perspective and it expands current thinking on your particular topic area. It helps you and your reader to discover important variables. It helps you and your reader to relate ideas and theory to applications. In the human services, we get a lot of theory and we get a lot of ideas. Here we're actually applying them to the real world, and that's what research helps us to do. It helps us to establish the context of the topic or the problem within the research and within the broader culture. It's going to help you to identify the main methodologies and research techniques that have been used, at least in the past, and it's going to help you to decide if your particular methodology is going to be something novel and new, or if maybe you're replicating or whatever that is. Replication is okay, by the way. It's also going to help you to place the research in a historical context to show familiarity with state-of-the-art developments. You're going to see how this topic has kind of evolved over time. In addition to all of this, it's also going to help to enhance and inquire the vocabulary around your topic area, around your subject. Now, every professor is going to want something different from a literature review, and I'm going to let you know exactly what I want from you every step of the way. First steps. How do you pick what literature you want to include? Well, I want you to be selective. When you go clothes shopping, you don't buy the first shirt that you pull off the rack, or the first dress that you lift off the rack, or the first pair of pants that you pick off the pile. You shop around. So when you are looking through your literature, there are a few suggestions that I'm going to make for you. I want you to look in the bibliographies or references of some of the really good articles that you find. Maybe you found one really good article that piqued your interest. Look in their resource list, look in their reference list, and then look at what they studied, look at what they researched. You can also start with Google Scholar. For those of you that are not familiar with Google Scholar, it is an academic search engine within Google. So when you go to Google, type in Scholar, 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 and it's going to take you to a different search engine. I would take off the patents and those sorts of things, check that off. And when you type in your topic area, you're going to get academic hits. From there, you can kind of start looking through the titles. Then if some of the titles are really intriguing to you, click on them and read the abstracts. The abstracts can give you a lot of information and a lot of information about what's out there. You can glean a lot of information and get a lot of stuff in your head about your topic area just by reading through abstracts. Those abstracts are going to tell you if those articles are worthwhile or not. Then, if you find good abstracts that are really intriguing, that's when you actually look at the full article. So, how do you know when you found the right literature? Well, when you've been looking through the literature, all the research articles that you've pulled, all the abstracts that you've pulled, and they start referencing the same people over and over and over again, then you know you've probably gotten to the heart of the research around your topic area. Once you have all of your articles picked out, you're going to do this. You are going to analyze the references. When you're analyzing the references, you're going to look at what they did and how they did it. You're going to look at their conclusions. You're going to look at their opinions. When you are done with this, you are also going to make up your own opinions and give your own ideas. You're not just going to summarize, but you're going to start organizing your literature by themes or topics. So as you go on to write your literature review, it's not simply a summary of your sources. It is a summary, but it's more than that. It's presenting the literature in a more concise manner. It's going to summarize the argument and the data that's relevant to your topic of an author before you proceed. Certainly that's the summarization part of it. But this makes it possible for your readers to do some important things, for you and your readers to do some important things. It's going to help you to understand the article, especially for your readers if they haven't read it before. It's going to help them to figure out if you and they are coming from a similar or different position on the topic. And it's going to let them know how much you know about the topic before you dive in. You're also going to be sure to offer your opinion in the literature. I use that word opinion carefully. Where are you coming from? You're going to be able to then jump in and say where you're going to go or what you think about the literature. So what you're trying to do is articulate overall patterns as well as evaluate them. And you're going to add your own perspective to the literature. What's missing? What are the biases that you see or the tendencies to emphasize or under-emphasize certain aspects of the topic? For example, do all the studies look at boys and neglect girls? I mean, it's been done before. Do they look at mostly urban settings but neglect rural settings? And then you want to talk about what interests you about these articles. So we're going to get into what the flow of the lit review is going to look like. The flow of the literature should lead logically to the gap that's been presented, okay? It should allow you to say that you've reviewed all the literature and there are, among other possibilities, something that's not been studied, a method that's not been applied, information that's missing, theory or philosophy that's not been developed or applied. And once this is identified, then you can say what you're going to do with your project. This is sometimes called your hypothesis or research question. And this should logically lead the reader to ask, how are you going to do this? This is setting you up for your methodology section, but we're not getting into that now. So the final paragraph, you're going to summarize what you've written. It's the preacher's adage. Talk about what you've written, tell your readers where the gap lies, and then where you're going to go with your project. Finally, Next week, you're going to be turning in a list of 8 to 10 references for your project. Now, this is a practice run, and it's going to give you the opportunity to begin searching your topic area as well as figuring out how to do an APA formatted reference page. APA formatting is a little tricky if you're not familiar with it. And my secret for getting APA formatting done right, because it's changing all the time, is to use a website at Purdue University called Owl at Purdue. Ta-da! Is that backwards for you? I hope not. It should say APA style, Owl at Purdue. Put that into Google. APA style, Owl at Purdue. And once you are there, you're going to click on the formatting and style guide, and every question that you didn't know you had about APA style is going to be answered there. So that's it for today, and I'm going to see you all again soon.